right, well, that was a little more fun at the end. Great college environment, man, wow. Crowd, homecoming, the sound, the students. Can't get a better environment, and that's big-time college football environment. Two really good football teams playing. Had a heck of a game. I was really proud of our guys' defense adjustments at halftime, our staff and our players. Found a way to slow them down a little bit, tackle a little bit better, made adjustments on the counter play, and covered pretty good. Gosh, I don't know. I think we ended up the game with 6 freshmen playing on defense there toward the end. I know on kickoff we had 9 guys running down the field that had never played college football before, basically. So we had a lot of guys that were banged up here and there, nicked up, and had to put some other guys in. It is what it is, and I was proud of them. Did good. Coaches coached well. Players made plays in the end. Made good calls in the end. Defense made stops in the end. Players made plays and ended up being good. So we had a 119-yard advantage in penalties. They had 14 for 119. We had 0 for 0. So there's a difference in your game. They got us in special teams, and I'll take the heat on that. I'm a special teams guy, and we had a plan for what they did. We had a missed block, and they blocked a punt on us, and we knew returns were going to be tough. Time or two, they got us. A couple times we probably should have tackled a little bit better. But in the end, the hidden yards with penalties and return yards, we were plus 60-something in that area. And then obviously, they've been a really good third down team. We held them to 3 of 17 on third downs, which was good. We were 45% on third downs ourselves, which has been good for us. And then the turnovers. So I was really proud of our guys. Great win for them. Looking forward to them enjoying it tonight, and then we got to get back to work tomorrow and get ready for the next one.
Mike, you guys, when they go up 31-17, they had 10 possessions after that and only got a field goal. You said you guys figured out a way to slow them down a little bit. That seemed like a little bit more than a little bit. Right. What do you chalk that up to?
Well, they made a couple adjustments on the running game, and I say adjustments. We just played it wrong. So we had to tighten it down. We didn't scheme-wise have to change anything. We just weren't playing it right. So we adjusted it. The players understood it. Part of this game is being able to make changes, come up with a plan, absorb information, and then take it on the field. Otherwise, you don't do any good. And they did. They took the information. I let the coaches coach an additional 6 minutes at halftime instead of, me getting up and giving, my best Canute Rockne speech. I just said, coach it up, get it fixed, and we'll roll. And that's what we did. And I think they got it coached up. So, and then offensively, we maneuvered and 535 yards, pretty good. So we found some ways to move the ball, score some points. We broke tackles, made big plays. Had to do what had to do. Played with quite a few freshmen at wideout.
What you watched first half, were you confident? Hey, you get in halftime, you could make some adjustments, fix the second half defensively? Were you pretty confident?
Defensively?
Yeah. Well,
we couldn't get it done quick enough on the sideline, but we could get it done at halftime. We were talking about it, but it's loud and it's just not as easy. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. We really couldn't get it done, but we did get it changed at halftime, got it cleaned up a little bit, and it played better.
Mike, in the moment, where does this rank in terms of just gutsiest wins?
I mean, it could fall. I don't know. I mean, it's big time because we play a lot of guys that never played football before, and so when you're in that situation and you're playing defense, you're trying to stop a team that's got 7 NFL guys playing, and you're playing with a bunch of freshmen out there. It's a little bit scary, but they play. Gutsy's a good term. That's about what they did. They just kind of found a way to get it done.
Because you had some guys down before the game, and you lost some over the course of as well, did you not?
That's correct.
And then we all know Spencer's not. He's having to gut it out. So it just accumulated, did it not?
Yeah, I mean, we have a good culture. We have players understand, and I mean, coaches always say next guy up, but that to a certain extent really is the next guy up if your culture's strong and they understand. And I told them this morning in the hotel, we had the 70 guys there that travel, and I said, everybody in this room is good enough to play today and win and play at a high level, or you wouldn't be in this room. I don't know who it's going to be, but if you're in this room, you're good enough, and we expect you to play well. And I understand you're going to make a mistake, but I expect you to play well. And I expect you to understand it's going to be a fist fight, and you have to strike him in the mouth. That's just the way it is. That's what I asked them to do, and that's what they did.
You talked about second half adjustments on the defense. With the offense, you started going to Nixon more, going to Ollie Gordon more. Spencer threw it 57 times total. Was that part of the adjustments?
Just trying to mix it up. So, we had some new guys playing multiple positions, so try not to be predictable. You couldn't just pound it and you couldn't just throw it. They played coverage a lot, and then they played overload and pressured. We didn't do as good a job picking up the pressure early, picked it up better late. And we didn't get a break in the first half, right? So we had a ball that hit the officials said it hit Brennan, so it hit Brennan. We had a pump blocked. We had something else happen that wasn't good. Well, we threw an interception going in, right? Was that the first half?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the first half, right? I mean, we were going in again. And then it was a long field goal, but we missed a field goal. So, we really didn't get a break. After we were done coaching on the way out, I said, guys, we didn't get a break in the first half of a 7-point game. Just go out and play. We're going to be fine. So, I don't know. If they listened to that or not, but that was the truth.
Second quarter, you guys were down 21-10. You got a touchdown on that drive. Spencer hadn't done a lot of running up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple runs on that drive. Did he just do that? You guys let the reins off, or it just happened that way? It seemed like it kind of loosened up your offense after that.
So at that point, they started pressuring us much, and without watching it, they kind of ran themselves out of the play. Twice it was long yardage, and it worked out good because they brought 5 and a couple times I think some 6-man pressure, and then got locked on and ran themselves out, and he took off running. It worked to our advantage. There wasn't anything we did or didn't to tell him to do or not do. It just, we got a break at that point.
Mike, you've talked about some of the freshmen that have played today. How far has Stephon Johnson come? He's
Long ways in this game, right? He made plays in this game. He's got a long ways to go, and people are going to say a lot of nice things about him, and you can put that in your pocket because that's not going to do any good in the next game. But he's played well today for a freshman.
Did you expect that come in knowing he's going to play so much?
He's played well in practice, but when you play freshmen, the two things I get concerned about is one, they get banged around and get nicked up, can get hurt, and it moves fast. And then they're freshmen. You're playing against grown men. So played very, very well and didn't let the game get too big for him, in my opinion.
Mike, we saw Jason come up with 2 interceptions, but wondering if he's okay. Jason Taylor? Jason Taylor.
I don't know. I don't know. Everything's happening too fast, and so I'm not sure what's going on there.
What about his two picks? The 2 interceptions he had?
His 2 picks? Yeah, he's he's one of those guys we talk about. He always ends up around the football somehow. And he's very athletic. He's got great hands. And in the end, he comes over and makes a big-time play, takes it away from where they're at and gave us a real chance.
He obviously is out there that last possession Texas had, and Kendall Daniels ends up with the interception at the end. I assume kind of playing where Jason might have been. You had some guys have to shuffle there. What did you see out of them in that last possession?
Yeah, so that one, I don't know who tipped it. Was it a backer?
I think it was actually Texas.
Oh, they tipped it to us? That was nice. But Kendall is a little bit from that same mold, from the standpoint, very athletic, basketball player, really good hands, so on and so forth. So, he doesn't have the experience. We all know that. He's a ways away from all that. But he's athletic, and he'll learn. He'll get better.
Like in the first half, it was a shootout. Both teams scoring in batches. You have the 2 back-to-back possessions where Spencer throws the bad interception, and then you miss the long field goal. Did you think, hey, we can't go wasted opportunities in a game
Not
like
many
this?
more.
Might be 49-48, and we got to score every chance we get.
Well, a while there, it might be 49-29. to be honest with you, because I'm trying to figure, I'm watching the clock, I'm trying to add the score up, trying to see how we're doing, and I'm thinking, we need to, you got to be careful against them, because if it gets too far, they're so athletic and talented, it's hard to reel it back in. So yes, I mean, those were things that go through my mind. Now, there's nothing I can do about it. It's not like we can change concepts and schemes, but those are things we got to try to be careful of. For me, it's when I have to start deciding whether we need to go for fourth downs versus put ourselves in a position that can get two out of, which I would prefer to not do. But if it gets in a danger zone, then we have to start thinking about doing that.
Did you learn something about your team today?
Gritty is a really good word, but I kind of knew that. I told you guys a month ago I liked our team. I liked our chemistry. They practice hard. They like each other. They care about each other, which is a big part. We can't talk them into doing that. Some people think coaches can talk players into doing that. Players have to self-motivate. They got to want to do it for themselves. And I've always liked this group. They're real young. They're immature. We're playing guys that shouldn't be on the field right now as much as they are, but they're pretty gritty and they're tough and they just continue to compete and they don't panic. Their body language is good and they don't panic. They just keep playing. And that's what I told them in the locker room, is that it's gone for 2 weeks now. We lost the last game down here, but they played good. They competed. We just came up a little short. But they just kept playing, and today they just kept playing.
Mike, when you talk about that gritty and the toughness, how much does Spencer's mindset, his approach, impact that and kind of?
Big time. I mean, he's the quarterback. It is what it is, right? He gets too much credit. I get too much credit, and he gets too much blame, and I get too much blame. And when your quarterback is a very competitive player who's willing to give his body up, play injured, never says a word, never complains, he just keeps playing, then that makes my job easier. Okay, if one of or your best players are your toughest players and most competitive, coaches don't have to do much, and that's what you get from him.
Did he feel any better this week?
Did he feel better? Yeah, he's feeling better. Yeah. I mean, he's not where he was. I mean, you can tell. I mean, it's obvious. You guys watch him, but he's doing better. We were very fortunate that he didn't take a direct shot down there in Dallas or Fort Worth, wherever we played.
What about your defensive line today?
Played good.
Yeah.
Much better. Once they got adjusted to play the counter right, I wasn't happy with the way we played. Obviously, nobody was. But once they adjusted that, they got really good in there. And, I had mentioned to you that last week I was not real fired up about it. I thought today they played better. And I think the offensive line played pretty good today. Okay? I mean, I've got to take statistics out. My job is to evaluate them versus them, us versus them, and who they are. And I thought they played pretty good for the type of players that we were competing against in the box today.
Considering you thought your defensive line did better today, and they were missing. I mean, Brock's out. Obviously, Brendan's out. They lost some depth there. How did they adjust?
They got to play more.
Yeah.
I mean, they just have to. They got to play more reps. And fortunately, that's a position where we had some depth. And we got 2 or 3 guys that are out, so we have to hopefully keep the guys healthy from this game, and then they got to play more reps, and we have to be smart with how we handle them during the week and so on and so forth.
A couple times the back came out and nobody went with him. Is that one of the adjustments you guys made at halftime? What was that?
Those were bad plays. No adjustment involved there. I love the kids, but that'd be an eyesight adjustment. That'd be my guy. So, but that's a couple times those were young guys. And they get caught and then he's fast and then it's not good. But they'll be better for it. They'll figure it out.
You ever seen a running back lose his shoe like Jaden did and keep going?
I didn't see it. I just saw the shoe out there and I didn't know whose shoe it was, and somebody said, put another back in. I have seen that before, but I didn't notice that he was without a shoe.
Mike, you talked on Monday about wanting to get he and Ollie more involved, and obviously he was an injury situation. Sounds like, first of all, how is Dom, and then second, what do you think of those two guys?
I think he's fine. I mean, I haven't really gotten any reports yet, but the other guys came in and played pretty good. And, I mean, that's where we're at. You know, we'll find out who's available tomorrow, or Tuesday, basically, and get those guys practice, get ready to play for the next game.
Mike, most of Texas offense today came on big plays.
That's right.
If they weren't hitting home runs, they were striking out. What goes into that?
I've been watching the Yankees, right?
I left them about 20 years ago.
Well, the Yankees are playing long ball,
Yeah.
right? Not playing much small ball, and they're either hitting it out of the park or they're not scoring. But home runs pay the bills. You know, it was kind of weird because when you look at it, Barry, we had 32 first downs. They only had 21. And in the first half, they didn't need first downs because they were getting big chunk plays. It's not the script that you write, because those are things that, and I think 3 of them were counter plays that we weren't good at. We need to work hard and fix those this week, which we did, but we need to be better at it. But that's not quite the recipe you're looking for, because, you know, the big plays are usually what get you.
What is it about John Paul Richardson on third down? How is he able to find a way to get open as well as he does?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it's anything special. It's just what it ended up calling. And, you know, Spencer's he's progressing. And it ended up being him a lot. But it's not, the plays we call aren't designed specifically for one person, because we don't know what coverage they're going to be in. We can't control that. That's the experience of Spencer being able to scan the field and being able to progress, does a good job. And JP is a very reliable guy. I mean, if you just, we're thinking about like the guys like on the field today on defense, 6 and 3 and 5 and 0 basically, those guys. And then JP last year was like that. And then look where he's come this year in 1 year experience. He's a pretty reliable guy. He makes good plays. Just look how much better he's gotten just in 1 year. So that's the good news for us on defense.
What do you think of Mason Cobb today?
You know, it's hard for me to say because I watch more of the back end. I don't watch more up close. Obviously, he made some good plays. I know there's a couple of times he got his head down tackling-wise, which he knows that, and we'll keep coaching that. But it'd be unfair for me to really say without watching the tape, because I'm looking more there than I am inside.
Last one for Coach. Is there an effect on special teams when you're using more of those guys because of injuries?
There's some new guys out there, yeah. The punt block is, we had guys for guys, we just didn't get it done. And it's kind of complicated. I mean, you guys are smart and know what you're doing, but it's complicated. We had a guy for a guy. One guy thought he kind of missed a guy. One guy said, okay, I'll block your guy. Then nobody blocked that guy. And it comes back to the same, look, you just got to do your job. Because when you start trying to overcompensate for somebody else in special teams, it can be an issue. So, and that's on, I mean, I'm into the pump protection and stuff. That's on me. I got to do a better job. But they're good at it, right? They put a whole bunch of fast guys there, and they come, and you make any little mistake, you're vulnerable.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay? All right, thank you all.